So at Horizon International School, we want children to develop a secure awareness of number, and we do this through the way that we teach it in school. We want to, this presentation is going to tell you about how and why number is taught in school, explain the different concepts and resources we use in school to teach maths, and it's going to give you lots of practical activities and activities and ideas for you to try at home to develop your child's math skills. So breadth and depth of number. So you can see here, these are the learning objectives that we cover in Foundations 2, some of the number learning objectives. With breadth and depth of number, we want to teach children the relationship between the numeral, the quantity, the order of numbers, for them to know number facts, and sorry, I'm just letting people in. And the use of everyday maths that we use in our daily lives. We start with the basics, with numbers to 10 first, and we want children to have an understanding. So we start with the concrete, which is using the resources that we have in school, say for example, blocks and cubes and Numicon and those kind of things. Then we move on to the pictorial, so for them to represent the numbers, and then moving on to the abstract, where we're just using numerals. So numbers are everywhere. We want children, that's it. Oh, sorry, hang on, that's it. Yeah, so what we want to do is we want children to understand why we talk about different numbers, how they can be used in school. Here, I think I've skipped a slide, I'm sorry. There we go. No, that's that one. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to pass you over to Miss Rafferty now for foundation stage. Here we go. Miss Rafferty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Is this the right slide? Sorry.
Yes, that's the right slide, Miss Ginn.
Okay.
So, as Miss Ginn said, in the red here is the learning objectives that we'll use when we are using tens frame in the classroom. So basically what a tens frame is, as you can see the picture below here, it's basically, we have them in class here as a concrete version. You can use tape on the floor if we do that in class. We use chocolate bars. It's just basically a visual representation of 10. And we use these in class with actual different objects we put in. So we put counters, we can put marbles, anything like that. And it's basically just to help children visualize and represent 10 in different ways. It's great for counting. It's great for looking into more and less. So addition and subtraction. So you can add more objects, you can take them away, and that'll help them visualize 10. Can I just ask you to mute your microphone just so everyone can hear me, if that's on loud? Thank you. Don't want anyone to miss anything. And we can also use it to, sorry, Miss Guinness, I think you muted me there. So we can also use it to introduce place value. So teaching the children that this is 10 and then one more would be 11, or you can have 10 here, 5 more would be 15. And we also use reversible counters when we're using tens frames. So what they are is just this image here of the counters. So one side is red and the other side is yellow, and we can use them in the tens frame. So we could put like 3 yellow counters and 7 red counters, and that will show that 3 plus 7 equals 10, and that will help us with our number 1s to 10 and skills like that. So I'm going to pass you on to Miss Campbell now, and she's going to show you what you can do at home to help with tens frames and any ideas that she has.
Thank you, Zoe. So the tens frames that we have at school, the wooden ones that we've got there, and the ones that we have printed out to use in class, we're actually going to be sending some home for you. So we've got like this one here, which is like the chocolate bar that we'll be sending home tomorrow. And there are also different ways that you can make these at home using things that you might have around the house. As you can see from the pictures there, there's one that's also got tape on the floor. You can use Lego, you could use lolly sticks, pencils, anything that you can use to make the 10 different squares at home. And then you can find some different objects to use that you could use as counters. For the number bonds activity that Zoe just explained there, where we had the different sided counters, you could use different items. So for example, at home you could use fruit. You might have grapes and blueberries, for example, and you could fill up your tens frame with, say, 4 grapes. And then how many would you need to use for blueberries? That'd be the kind of questioning that you use. How many would you need to use to fill up the rest of your tens frame in blueberries? So you've got different types of objects to help them see the 2 different numbers, the number bonds that make 10. I think that you have already explained how we can do it, how we can use them to add and subtract more or less than 10. But for an extra challenge, you could try to make more than one tens frame. So get them to start thinking, for those children that grasp that concept quite easily of filling up the tens frame and then having 10 plus 3 being 13. Well, what would happen if I had 2 tens frames filled up? That would equal 2 tens, which is the same as 20, and challenge them that way, looking at place value and the value of the 10 being 1, 2, 3, 4, and however many tens, and then the ones being the ones that are left over. So there's an example of some things that you could do at home. I think next we have, who's next?
We have Mrs. Armstrong next.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm going to talk to you about place value in maths. Now, the objectives for the end of FS2 are here, and we want the children to start working on these objectives now. So they're 40 to 60 month objectives to begin to use vocabulary involved in addition and subtraction, recording using marks that they can make, and begin to identify mathematical problems. Now, before they do all of that, we need to make sure that they have a really secure understanding in the number. And next week, we'll begin looking specifically at teen numbers and numbers up to 20. Now, we know lots and lots of children can count to 20, but what we want them to look at is how the numbers are made up. So just as the girls have said before, with looking at the tens frame and what makes up a number, next week we'll start to look at teen numbers like 14, 12, sorry, not 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. We'll look at the teen numbers and we want the children to understand what that number consists of. So we'll use the tens frames again, and we'll also use the Numicon to help them understand how many tens and how many ones are in a number. So if you look at the picture up the top, you can see the number 14. We want the children to see that 14 is made up of 14 ones, because the children can place 14 ones in all the boxes, but we also want them to understand that 14 is also a 10 and 4 ones. So here is the 10, and then it's also 4 ones. So once they have an understanding of that, we want the children to make the numbers by themselves. So we have things like this where they'll have 2 tens frames side by side. So we'll ask them to make the number. So can they make the number 14 by themselves by placing things in here? We would like them to draw the numbers. So can they draw using a pen and their own marks, the 14? And then maybe they could write it as a real challenge. What does 14 mean? It means 10 plus 4. So that's taking them through all the steps of understanding the number. They should understand this before they move on to anything else. We want them to be really, really secure with numbers to 20. So we know that lots of children can even count beyond 20 and way into 100, but we really want to make sure that they have that solid understanding of teen numbers and numbers up to 20, so that it will help them later on with addition, subtraction, and understanding number value. And then if they can, we can move on to bigger numbers like 30s, 40s, and make them partition the numbers themselves. I'm going to pass you on now to the next slide, and we have got Miss Luton, and she's going to give you some more ideas about how to do place value at home.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, so place value, although it's not specifically part of the Foundation Stage 2 curriculum, it is so important that children understand the value of a number, because once they've got their teen numbers and they understand that it's a group of 10 and extra ones, they can just apply that up to numbers to 100. And we've always taught it in Foundation Stage, and it does really help them with their number sense. And commonly they'll say, oh, like, what's the number 34? And they'll say, oh, it's 3 and 4. But in fact, that's not, because that's 7. Because if they got a 3 and they got a 4, they would have 7, not 3 10s and 4 extra ones. Number blocks is a great way to introduce children to place value or any numbers actually without them even knowing it. They all love number blocks, and it is really educational as well. So don't worry if you've got that on at home and it's screen time. It is good screen time because it is teaching them something without them actually even knowing it. Printing and cutting your own Numicon, we're going to send that home tomorrow. So you'll have your own printed set of Numicon, which you can print out, cut and use at home. And if you need to make any extra 10s, you can. And just really using that language of like, oh, okay, you've made, as you can see in the picture here, 31. I can see that you've got 3 10s and 1 extra 1, using that language with them. And then even ordering numbers around your house that you can find. You could go on a number hunt, see which numbers you can find, and then put those numbers in order, because once they've got the understanding of the value of numbers, they'll know that 24 comes before 31, etc., because they'll know that it's got more 10s in that number. And that's all. But you'll have all of your resources tomorrow, and it will all make sense. And the Numicon is a great resource. We use it every day in school, and you can do so many different things with it as well. I'm going to pass you over to Miss Fitzsimons now.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, super. So I'm going to talk about part whole maths, and you'll also be receiving some of these tomorrow in your little pack. If you have a look at the screen, you'll see some of the objectives that are covered when we explore part whole in school, in class. They also cover some of our number ELG as well, as you can see. So part whole is just the concept of whole numbers being split into 2 parts. So that one part and one part makes a whole. So it's a visual way of showing number bonds and number facts. And we've actually been busy working on our number bonds to 10 in class this week. And it's also a good way of showing the relationship between addition and subtraction. So if you have a look at the picture just at the side, you can see this is a number part whole math. So it has 5 and 2, and that makes 7. Okay, but you can also look at it like a subtraction. So 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay, and I'm going to pass you on to Miss Welsh, and she's going to give you some ideas of how you can use part whole maths at home.
Try that again. Sorry, I was on mute. Hi everyone, I'm Miss Welsh. If there's anyone in my class online at the moment, please don't worry, because any of the resources that you see here, I will make sure they're sent home next week. So as you can see here, we've got 4 pictures here, and these are just some ideas of how you can have a go at part whole at home. So we've got a picture with some jelly beans and some Smarties, which will really get the children excited.
and a plate to separate them to show the two different quantities. We've got the hula hoops there, two of the same colour to really show there's two parts, and then a different colour to represent the whole. We also can use, if you want to go for a healthy option, to segment the fruit. So again, showing that a whole apple and cutting it in half to represent the part and another part. And finally, we've got the pipe cleaners with some string and some beads. So these are just some really fun and creative ideas of how you can teach part, whole at home. So I really hope these help, and I'm going to pass you back over to Miss Gidd now.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to skip back because I did miss a slide at the beginning. So I'm just going to talk about breadth and depth of number. These are some ideas for you to do at home. So numbers are everywhere. So when you're with your children, when you're out and about, talk about the numbers that you see, talk about the numbers that you use in everyday life. I mean, even looking at the prices to compare two of the same products in a supermarket, you know, as adults, that's what we intrinsically do. So, you know, teaching children that numbers are in our lives all day, every day, and how they can use them, how they can find them. Another idea is bowling Skittles. So we've been doing that in school this week, and it's really simple, just made with water bottles, and it's a great way to split numbers in different ways. We've been doing it this week with 10 Skittles, and the children have been learning the bonds to 10. You could also do it with 5 Skittles, you could do it with 15 Skittles, for children to understand the way that the two parts of the number the numbers can be split and how the two are added together to get the total. Another idea is planning a picnic. I mean, there's lots and lots of maths in there. How many people are going, the quantity of items you need, the cost to buy. Children can record these on a shopping list. You can talk about sharing. How many do they get each when they're sharing out? So yeah, these are just some really simple ideas to just get that breadth and depth of number into your home. So I'm just going to show you very quickly. These are the resources that we'll be sending home. So unfortunately, this is a paper chocolate bar. So this is our tens frame chocolate bar, which the children absolutely love. So we use them in school for putting the objects onto the tens frame, making different bonds to 10, and also for partitioning. This is an example of a part whole mat that you will receive tomorrow. So the iceberg, the large iceberg is the whole. So say, for example, if we were looking at bonds to 10, we'd have 10 objects here, and then the children can then move, say, for example, move 5 objects here, move 5 objects here, and then you've got the 5 and the 5, and if you move them both back up, that makes the 10. We're also going to give you a set of Numicon. I think we sent this out at the beginning of the year, but we'll give you another set. You can photocopy these if you wanted more and cut them out. You can use those at home. So also we're going to give you your children are going to make tomorrow in school a set of 10 reversible counters. So they have their own counters that they've made in school to bring home. You can use those on the part whole mats, and you can use them on the tens frame chocolate bar. So any questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself, ask any questions that you might have, anything that you'd like us to clarify.
Excuse me?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Can you send this meeting on our emails or something, or it's not allowed?
Yeah, so this Zoom has been recorded. So what we'll do is we'll then upload it and we'll share a link. So yeah, so you're welcome to watch back through it and listen to what we've said. Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are we all good? Okay. My email address is on the end there. So if you have any questions, or if you're watching the video back at a later date and there's something that you'd like to ask, something you'd like to clarify, obviously come and see your child's class teacher, or you're more than welcome to send an email to me, and I will get back to you.